According to the great St. Alphonsus Liguori, veneration of the holy angels, and particularly of St. Michael, is an outstanding sign of predestination. St. Lawrence Justinian said, "Although we must honor all the angels, we ought to invoke in a very special manner the glorious St. Michael, as the prince of all the heavenly spirits, because of his sublime dignity, his preeminent office, and his invincible power which he proved in his conflict with Satan, as well as against the combined forces of hell." Again, the same saint said, "Let all acknowledge St. Michael as their protector and be devoted to him, for he cannot despise those who pray to him, but he guards them through life, directs them on their way, and conducts them to their eternal home." Holy Church recognizes the exalted dignity and power of St. Michael by the veneration which she pays to him. Until the reform of the Breviary in 1961, she had two feasts in his honor, the Apparition of St. Michael on May 8th, and the dedication of St. Michael, or Michaelmas, on September 29th. Her liturgy for the latter feast, which she has retained in the traditional Latin Mass, is replete with the praises of St. Michael as the Prince of the Heavenly Host and as the protector of the children of God. The history of the Feast of the Apparition of St. Michael is very remarkable. In the year 492, a wealthy man had a large herd of cattle grazing on Monte Gargano in Italy, not far from the once famous city of Siponto. One day a steer went astray from the herd and did not return with the rest of the cattle at the usual time. The owner and his hired men went in search of the steer and finally found him on the summit of the mountain, lying at the entrance of a cave. The animal refused to leave the spot. At length the owner, exasperated by his stubbornness, took up his bow and sent an arrow toward it. However, the arrow whirled about in the air and, coming directly toward the archer, wounded him. All were frightened at this strange incident, and no one ventured to approach the place. They went directly to the Bishop of Siponto and related the incident to him. The holy prelate, after serious reflection, decided that there must be some mystery connected with it. He therefore prayed fervently that God's holy will might be revealed. Thereupon St. Michael appeared to him in great splendor and said, "I am Michael the Archangel, who ever stand before the Lord. I am keeping this place under my special protection. By this strange occurrence I wish to remind men to celebrate the divine service in my honor and that of all the angels." After this revelation, the bishop and all the inhabitants of the place went up the mountain in solemn procession and prayed to the Lord through the intercession of St. Michael. When they arrived at the cave, they found an entrance which led down a stairway. No one, however, ventured to enter, and they performed their devotions at the opening. After that, many pilgrimages were made to this spot. Much later, around the year 663, the Neapolitans decided to make war upon the inhabitants of Siponto and Benevento. The latter, at the advice of their bishop, kept a 3 days fast and called upon the assistance of the Holy Archangel. During the night preceding the attack, the Archangel appeared again to the bishop and told him that God had listened to their petitions, and that in the 4th hour of the day they should courageously meet the enemy, and they would gain the victory. As soon as the attack began, all Monte Gargano was violently shaken. The entire summit was enveloped in dark clouds, from which flashes of lightning, like fiery arrows, flew toward the enemy, who in consequence took to flight. In joy and gratitude, and amidst devout prayer, the conquerors entered the sacred spot. They found the cavern to be perfectly formed for a church, which would hold about 500 persons. This cave had evidently been a place of refuge, in which the early Christians had secretly held their services during times of persecution. From a crevice in the rock, which formed the ceiling of the sanctuary, water dripped down upon the rocks. This water was very refreshing and most pleasant to the taste, and it possessed healing properties. Many sick persons were instantly cured after drinking this water. Others found health through the intercession of St. Michael. Many other miracles proved this place to be under the special protection of heaven. Alongside of this subterranean church, the bishop erected another in which the services were conducted by canons regular, priests who belonged to a religious order. This church still exists.